Okay, right, let's start with the interview proper. Now, Jonathan, you're the flag bearer for Singapore at the YOG. Do tell us, how do you feel about being given such a responsibility?
I am quite happy and shocked at the same time that I got this responsibility, and I'm also quite proud that I am able to carry the flag of Singapore during the opening ceremony.
Yeah. Is it something that you did not expect at all?
I wasn't really expecting it because diving was pretty unknown as a sport.
Now, alright, the YOG will be your first major event, I understand. How have your preparations been like so far?
I think preparations have been good so far, and I'm slowly building up so that I will be able to peak at the YOG. So I guess that preparations are quite okay.
Well, you do know that you're the only diving representative from Singapore, right? Are you feeling any nerves ahead of the games, maybe?
Slightly nervous, but I'll just try and do my best, do what I can do best, and try not to be distracted by anything else.
Is this your first competition at world level, though? Tell us more about your competitive background.
I have done a few overseas competitions. Oh yeah, I also had CYG last year, but that one wasn't so wide range because that was in the Asian continent. Yeah. Then the divers from the US and Mexico are all a lot stronger.
But I'm sure it'll be a good experience for you, the YOG, right?
Yeah, it'll be a very good experience to expose myself to divers from different countries, to know all the different standards.
Okay, now you also have an elder sister, Kimberly, who's also a national diver. She represented Singapore at the SEA Games last year in Myanmar. So has she been giving you any advice ahead of the YOG?
I guess she's very supportive of me going to YOG, and she just tells me to do my best and be confident in what I do.
Well, are you hoping to achieve a good result at the YOG in Nanjing? Maybe in terms of personal development as well?
I'm just hoping to get to reach top 10 during the competition, because I know that the standard was very high during the qualifying meet, so it will be a challenge to myself to reach top 10, and if I get better, then yay.
But of course, one of the things that you're looking forward to is next year's SEA Games on home soil, new pool, new facilities over at the Sports Hub. How do you think your participation in the YOG can help your preparations for the SEA Games next year?
I think the YOG will prepare me in a way that I'll be more used to the pressure, especially if I do it on home ground. There'll be a lot of pressure from Singaporeans. So the pressure that I'm going to feel at YOG will be a very good preparation for what I'll be getting next year.
Alright, now you're also currently in your 5th year at ACSI, which is ACS Independent, which means you'll be in your final year when the 28th SEA Games comes around. Now, it certainly seems like a very busy time for you as well, but how are you coping with juggling both your studies as well as your sporting development?
For now, I'm coping quite okay. My teachers are very supportive and helpful, especially for my studies. And I usually try and finish my work in school, or not, I'll usually try and finish it over the weekend. So during the weekdays, even when I go home tired and not ready to do any work, I won't be that behind the workload.
Well, perhaps I'm unfamiliar with the exam schedules and all that, especially during your YOG period. Is your school giving you any concessions for you to participate in Nanjing?
The exams are later on in the year, so it just affect the curriculum part, so nothing major for exams.
Alright, now you'll also be taking part in the YOG this year, the SEA Games next year, but what about the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro? Is that an event that you'll be working towards entering?
I guess that is a possible event that I'll be working towards, but it also depends on how I improve over the next 2 years and how much I develop and the standard I reach.
Alright, now before we go up, who are the powerhouses exactly for diving in your age group in the world level that you are looking forward to participating against?
For now, I have seen that China, USA and Mexico are really strong competitors, and that is just they are the highest standard, and everyone else is also a very high standard. So those are just the biggest three.
Have you met Tom Daly before in previous competitions?
I never competed with him before, but I have met him a few times. The first time was being when I volunteered at the first YOG, so that was the first time I met him.
Alright. Now, we also understand that you suffered a slight concussion in training in June, and you couldn't take part in the Southeast Asian Swimming Championships. Have you recovered well from that, and will it affect your performance later in China, for the YOG, of course?
I have recovered about a few weeks back already, so my training is back to normal. So I don't think it will really affect my YOG performance.
How did it come about though, the injury?
It was I opened during a dive at the wrong time, so I landed flat on the water from 10 meters.
Ooh, it must have hurt a lot, right?
Yeah, but flatting is part and parcel of diving, so we're all more or less used to it in some way.